subscribe, and comment what you love and what you don't. Come hang with the boys in the woods.
Welcome, everybody, to the Boys in the Woods podcast. As always, we have Charles, and today we have Talking Dirt podcast. Absolutely. Just talk that dirt. Just shame me the wrong way. Just throw it all over me and make me dirty.
There you go.
Dude, I'm envious of that intro. That's a pretty cool intro y'all have rolling in there.
I told him it's badass.
We should tell them that'll bring.
I have no idea where that
mischievous and dirty
QR code sends you.
Real
I haven't tried it yet. I don't have my bee suit, so I like to have my bee suit on when I'm going around the internet in these dirty places. You never know what gets into these crevices.
For sure. There's plenty of those on there.
Yes. You guys were talking the other day in your podcast. You were talking about climbing in the old. You were mixing some chemicals for your crops. Climb in there and mix what, 5.5 gallons with 200 gallons of freaking for fertilizer or something. See, you guys are legit farmers then. Like, you guys live it. You don't just talk it. You guys live it. You absolutely do it.
Yeah, man. That's funny that like our show Talk Dirt to Me. We kind of came up with that because we encompass both sides. We're first cousins. Give you a little background on us. Like, again, I'm Logan. This is Bobby Lee.
Yeah.
First cousins, and our dads farmed together. And Bobby Lee, he's veterinarian. He liked school a lot more than I did. And he's in the cattleman side, and I'm on the row crop side. So that's what I do full time.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's Logan's full-time gig. I mean, we're getting rich doing a podcast.
Oh, money's just flowing in.
Yeah. But yes, he definitely lives it. It's nearly a full-time job for me, but it is my side hustle.
Okay.
I'm not quitting my day job quite yet.
The veterinarian.
That's my main job, yeah.
So I'm assuming you grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
And it's whenever I drive by all these farms in Wisconsin, I'm one of my only farm memories in my life outside of a childhood friend running really fast into an invisible fence line and almost cutting his head off and doing this cool little wah-wah.
Nice.
Zach, shout out Zach. I don't even know. Zach, what up, man? Out in that world, the universe might bring you to me again. That would be funny. But that, and then the movie Son-in-Law.
Yeah.
So I drive by farms all the time, and I'm like, man, that'd be so much fun. And how rightfully wrong am I when I say that driving by thinking, oh my God, at 4:00 in the afternoon on the golf course?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, farming is interesting. Like we both grew up primarily in hay. We did a lot of hay and cattle, and branched further into the row crop side. And that's what I really resonated the most with. And I still mess with a few cows, but farming, I tell everybody, which I'm trying to cut back. You'll notice tonight I'm drinking water, drink a lot more alcohol since I started farming than I ever did before. But there's really nothing else I could see myself doing. I've branched out and tried other things and always find my way back to farming. And there's really nothing like it. If something happened and my operation went belly up, man, I'd probably have to go work for a farmer. That's just what I was doing.
But you don't see yourself asking people if you would like fries with that.
No, I don't have that.
They're making a lot of money nowadays. So
$12.50 an hour, go for it.
Per hour, they might come close to it. Yeah.
I
guarantee you they do.
Yeah, they might be beating what I'm making, but man, it's funny. I couldn't deal with the public like that. That's a good thing with farming. I'm off to myself a lot of times, and I don't deal well with people telling me what to do. And
every single person that knows me would tell you the same thing. And I'm 10 months away from a public administration bachelor's degree. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Now, congratulations, school, but seriously.
They're the politics realm.
It is wild. Yeah. I don't know. I just found out that you can search a gamer tag on a Call of Duty server and hear what that gamer tag has said in its entirety.
Oh, man.
My political career is over once people find out that I am once the Canuck, EGC Mufasa, Prometheus, et cetera, et cetera.
See, I was Pimpinator 545 on
Pimpinator.
Wow. Nice. Mine was Go Big Orange something.
Oh, yeah. Lee, our buddy Lee, he was a farmer and his was pigweed. We all kind of had a Call of Duty run there.
That's been a long time ago.
Yep.
It was when I lived in town and had high-speed internet, and then I moved out.
Yeah, there you go.
We get about 26 up and down for about 15 minutes a month now. Where you're at.
Now I've got high-speed internet again, just here within the last 6 months. But
Yeah.
I don't need to get back into that.
No, if it's not Ready Player One at this point, it's just not worth it. I've got too many adult things to do. I haven't cut the grass in 3 days. I feel dirty.
Well, I had a question. You guys live in Texas. You put as much effort into your food plots as you do as your farming abilities. You guys are big hunters.
You had.
I was going to just say Tennessee. We're in Tennessee.
Oh, you're in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were saying y'all were in Texas.
No,
no.
We're in fucking Wisconsin.
Good God, no, right?
Minute 6:58, and we're now finding out they're not that far south from us than we thought.
Now, the reason they get to speak English in Texas is because of Tennesseans.
Yeah.
We have to remind them that.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is something that we normally do, and we just haven't had a guest. Anyways, yeah.
So we don't have a guest. We have multiple guests out of Texas.
We haven't had a guest that led to this conversation.
Oh no, yes. Joey absolutely rips on Texas, and he lives there, which is funny.
But as in Tennessee, is Texas that state? Like for Michigan, it's Ohio State. For Wisconsin, here we've got the Fibs.
This is
the only thing we get into is University of Tennessee is UT.
Yeah.
Because Texas will say, "Well, we're UT," and I'm like,
there was that horns incident.
So we were the University of Tennessee was founded like 100 years before Texas was even a state. So and then you get into the whole Davy Crockett with Alabama.
Which at
we're called the volunteer state.
We were still getting married in a church. Yeah, you guys were freaking out there, still patting cows on the ass in Texas.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, so outside of sports in Tennessee, who's your state rival? I mean, even outside of sports, Michigan just doesn't like Ohio and vice versa. So
they just don't like people, period. That's what it is.
What?
I think it all goes back to sports, really. It's like we love to crap on Alabama and talk about
thank God.
Cousins and everything, but
yeah, they sure do.
No, did you actually hear what I said though earlier? I asked you, do you guys put as much effort into your food plots for hunting? I said, are you big hunters?
Yeah. Now, as far as for me, food plots is, man, I have soybeans and corn planted that I harvest anyways.
Yeah.
And that's typically what I hunt.
Do you rotate your crops then? Do you guys do that down there? Or you don't have to as often?
Man, I try to. Typically, I primarily am corn and soybeans, and occasionally I'll do wheat. But typically, I'll do 2 years of soybeans, 1 year of corn. I try to get about 2 out and then rotate. Yeah, and I don't know. I've gotten really big into cover crops here lately, and so I'm adding that into the mix. And
see, you guys don't believe the government when they say that there's only 30 years worth of crops left in the soil. That absolute astronaut nonsense that they're spreading out there, trying to tell people. Because any farmer would tell you that as long as you do things the proper way, it's an endless amount of crops that can be produced on your farmland as long as you take care of your land.
Oh yeah, and the whole the big buzzword for the last 5-10 years is sustainability.
Yeah,
farmers have been thinking about that for really probably since the beginning of time. They want to act like they're come up with this new idea that we should try to be sustainable. And of course, the whole narrative, especially from the coastal elites, that farmers are a bunch of Neanderthals, a bunch of rednecks. We don't really know. What Bloomberg say? You just put a seed in the ground.
Put a seed in the ground,
right. Why don't we diss on the people who are fucking with our food?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you,
it makes no sense to me.
One of the things that got me back when Trump was running the first time, I was on Facebook, and it was like our local news had shared some article about, I think, farmers, and overwhelmingly they were supporters of Trump. It was like over 80%. Most farmers I know are very conservative, but this dude had commented in there, and he said that he wished every farmer would go broke. And I'm like, you did that.
I remember this. Yeah.
That's the idiocy and the ignorance that we deal with. It's like people want to hate on us. It's, dude, you realize like not only food, but like your clothes. Not myself personally, but dude, think of the thing. If all the
your
farmers,
alcohol,
yeah,
I mean
Everything, yeah.
he was
over and over.
Probably his Patron would be gone if that happened. Or Mad
It's crazy how ass backwards we have things. It's you make a wet ass pussy, and that shit goes crazy. The same year they canceled "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
But you get all of these opinions from somebody who would fart in a microphone and the shit would go to #1 on Tuesday on the top 10 hot Billboard charts. But we don't listen to farmers or doctors or fucking scientists.
Yeah.
And not like them crazy fuckers like Bill Nye, who isn't actually a scientist, just fucking worked on television and people can't figure that out.
He's a comedian.
Yeah,
It's fucking crazy to me. But hey, it's funny. A couple months ago, I was telling my wife this. I was like, farmers gotta have something figured out. They fucking feed us. Maybe we should listen to them.
And the whole narrative that like farmers don't care about the planet and all this, like, I'm sure there's other industries that directly tie their livelihood to the soil and the planet, but none more so than come on.
Yeah.
No
We started blaming our climate change on cows. I knew shit was going downhill from there. Cows can't even fucking talk at this point. And you're like, don't fart around me, cow. How dare you?
We want to act like, and whether it's cows or I guess 1,000,000 years ago when it was mainly buffalo. Yeah. The fact that ruminants grazing isn't part of a healthy ecosystem. Yeah. Don't even get me going. Yeah.
We've been here for 11,800 years. We do not have everything figured out. Them animals have been here a really long time.
Yeah.
They've been doing just fine.
Obviously, from one of the things people don't think about as well is, for me, I got to make a profit. This is how I make a living. This is my career. And I had a guy on Instagram. Social media is a cesspool.
Oh, man.
Times, but I had a guy on Instagram the other day tell me I just needed to quit my job and get a different job. And I'm like, so that's your advice to farmers. But the better the soil is, the better my crops do. The better my crops do, the more money that I make. It's a business at the end of the day. So why would I want to just pillage the ground and not take care of it? Because you see those guys. I mean, we had them around here, dudes that would disc, do all every year. They lose a tremendous amount of topsoil. And every year their crops tend to decline. They're having to apply more and more fertilizer. And they lose. It's been documented. They lose feet of topsoil after so many years. Yeah. And so this no-till, but the people want it both. They want you to not do tillage, but they want you to not use chemical. And it's like,
those two are at odds.
We with the cover crop, you can roll it and crimp it, and that'll work. But you typically still have to go in and apply a later application of herbicide. So you're not eliminating all chemical, but you can't get that through these people's heads.
This is going to be a whole bunch of common sense. So forget. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, you can say it, Charles.
The universe is trying to like stop me from throwing this common sense out there.
You got to put that vape pen down, man. It's getting to you.
Yeah.
We don't speak that language around here, man. But anyway, so here's some common sense for me. The farmland. The farmland you've been farming on. How long has it been farmed on before you?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so that's fine. How long do you think it's been farmed on before that?
Yeah.
Probably a pretty long time.
Yeah.
So why tomorrow is it all of a sudden going to fucking change?
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not going to go into a hospital and be like, yo, I've got something going on upstairs. I need to cut myself open. This is just a clean spot for me to do it. Why the fuck am I going to go out to a farmland that's been farmed on for hundreds of years the same fucking way and has been producing great and has been doing wonderful things? And then me go, there's this piece of paper that somebody wrote 10 years ago that makes me think you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. But again, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I live in this weird common sense world.
Everybody's an expert on the internet these days.
Until they're not.
Fuck, I give out internet plants all the time. I do.
That's what.
Stop wasting oxygen.
Tell you, man, that social media, it's a lot of I have a lot of fun. I put out my little farmer rant videos on Instagram, and I'll get some very interesting feedback on there. And I gave a shout out. Actually, it might have been on Talk Dirt to Me's page, or maybe even been on the podcast. I gave a shout out to one of the dumbest comments I've ever gotten. And the guy basically he said, farmers don't know how to weed their fields. And I was like, well, what do you suggest? And he goes, you need to get on your hands and knees, and you need to crawl through there, and you need to pull up those weeds. And I actually took the time because it was so dumb that I was actually insulted. I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
I know that feeling.
I even took the time, and I'm not a math guy, but I figured up like in a square, I can't remember foot or square meter, like
you just did footage.
Yeah, like in a square foot, how many weeds you would probably have. Long story short, it ended up being, it'd been several trillion weeds that you would have to pull on like 1,000 acres. Or maybe I was just roughly figuring 1,000 acres, not counting millions of acres. Or I guess maybe I did it across millions of acres. I can't remember now. But I know it was an absolute assload of weeds. Trillions of acres or trillions of weeds. Like, I've never done 1 trillion things in my life. Like, and this dude that did it, he probably has a greenhouse in his backyard. I don't have a problem with guys having a greenhouse, but I have a problem with the guy that has a greenhouse.
I was just thinking that. I was like, do you think his greenhouse is 4x8 or 8x12? And he's pick up 6 fucking weeds. It takes me 5 minutes. Why can't these fucking farmers do it? Shit.
I had a greenhouse and realized that shit just does not work the proper way. That's not a proper way to grow plants. If you want to grow flowers, shit, yeah, go for it. Grow plants, no, they absolutely not.
So my wife's into houseplants.
Yeah,
I just went to go.
House plants? Do you
I'm just curious. Being on a farm, do you run into this? Like, I went to go take a shower and I opened the curtain and there was 6 fucking plants in there going, "Whoa, we're in here!" And I'm sorry, and I had to close the curtain and walk out till tomorrow. Is this like normal on the farm? And should I expect it if I go to a B&B, or is this just something fucking houseplant people do?
I think that's a houseplant thing.
Yeah. So you don't fucking see it on a farm, but I see it in a city in the middle of 32,000 fucking people.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds kind of like a city thing to me, man. How much rainfall do y'all get a year?
Yeah, not a lot.
I don't have any room for this shit. I'm just gonna put
seriously, I was like, fuck, sorry. Close the curtain. I felt bad. We don't know what I walked in on.
Yeah.
You just set them outside and let it rain.
Yeah. It's like walking into a Furby event, telling people, "Hey, I got to use the restroom." You ain't getting in there clean. You ain't getting out of there dirty. I tell you that much.
Yeah,
fuck,
Charles,
I don't know what houseplants do. That's crazy. It's crazy.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you too. You guys, we went out west for work, and they could tell our accent based off of a couple coworkers that I have. They have some very thick, like Minnesota Canadian accents, and they went to the casino, and the guy's, he goes, "You guys are from Minnesota," or he goes, "Wisconsin." He goes, "Yep, we're from Wisconsin." And the guy goes, "Nailed it, I knew it." He goes, "Can you guys tell other people's accents based off of living down there? Or is the Texas, the Florida, the Georgia, the dialogue? There's got to be some certain words. What are some words that differentiate people's accents for you guys? Or is it just holy crap?
Boot is a killer for us.
A boot, yes. Or toilet, toiletta.
Say,
yes.
Do y'all got, what do you call, I don't want to say the word, I don't want to influence how you say this. What do you call a small stream that runs through the woods?
A creek?
Okay, there you go. There you go. Sometimes I hear them say crick, and it's just.
He was hoping you were going to say crick.
Yeah,
good job. You didn't let me down.
No, yeah, but people still say pop.
But see, I think that's people who trout fish actually will say that. People who don't have like trout streams won't say stream, they'll say creek. And I'm pretty sure that word came from Old English terms. Like that was like a small little like ravine that had water in it. Like people either pissed or shit in it, and that's what they called it. They call it a crick. There's no way that word actually came from anything normal.
Yeah, I've listened on the Meat Eater podcast. I know Stephen Ranella. I think I've heard him say crick. And I've always thought it was weird, but
yeah, he turned us down to come on our podcast. He said that we were weird.
Really? Really?
Wait, there was a woman who runs a very successful bow hunting show that wanted to come on the podcast, and she was all about it until maybe 1 or 2 episodes in that we were doing, and she said it's just she goes, I don't know if my producer's gonna sign off on this, and I said why, and she goes, it's not the curse words and the fact that you guys are unfiltered and uncensored. She goes, it's the fact that you guys, your accents change when you talk. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, it sounds like you guys are acting when you're talking. I said, no, absolutely not. I said, that's just the fact that there's no green screen. There's no freaking stuff in front of us. Everything we say comes out of our freaking head. Like you guys are, what I learned from doing podcasting, especially people who are professionals, they must need a script or something to read off of, and they can't function.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
We've
they
gotten
have
a
to
few.
have
We've
it.
gotten a few of those in responses too. Like they want to know the
Questions
script
ahead of time.
of
Yep.
the show and the questions ahead of time. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Oh, okay.
I've
Why is
had
the
some
sky
people-
blue?
Yeah, I've had several on my other show that would do that. I'd reach out, get in touch with their producer, and they'd ask for the script. And I
Yeah,
told them that I don't have one. Like that's
Yeah.
part of the way I just operate with it. It's very organic. And so, yeah, that always throws them off. One of the best I did have, I won't blast them, but I did have
You
a
don't,
guest
yeah, you don't have to blast them. Just
that I did have one that said they would come on the show, or the person I reached out to would not do the show, but his manager would do the show for $150 an hour.
No, man.
what?
And I never paid anybody to come on the show.
No,
Oh,
no.
no,
I
you
got.
have to.
If you put me under that much pressure, you're going to figure out what we're doing with the next 57 minutes. That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. So, where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up? And I'm done.
Yeah.
I took that out. We hit a college athlete up. I'm not going to throw shade at college athletes because I've reached out to plenty of them because we're a sports comedy interview podcast. One of them was 18, just turned 18 years old, Charles. I think I talked to you about this. He said his NIL guy said that he gets $1,000 a podcast. I looked it up. The dude's never been on a podcast ever. Hit me up with some ridiculous amount of money. And then I emailed the guy back. I said, what are you going to do with that money? He goes, throw a rager. At least he responded to me with what he was going to do with the money. But yeah, he there's no way. These kids don't know what they're doing.
They made a movie about
with their
that
money.
already. Do it. Be original, Disney.
Yeah.
Fucking Disney.
That just screams to me. These poor kids don't need that money. They don't need that $10,000, $15,000 contract because they're living high on the hog without it.
Oh yeah.
That's talk about like the script. When we show up to do our recording, usually on Thursday nights,
Yeah.
we rarely he usually says, do you have a topic? I'm like, no, do you? He said, no. Like, all right, we'll just come up with and we just,
On the way, yeah.
Exactly.
that's some of our best
useless-
conversations.
The uselessweb.com. That's where that was birthed from.
No,
I'm on that. I've been on that for like last 72 hours. Just find a random shit. Don't go to the random button. Don't go to the random button.
Just a rabbit hole you never escape from.
No, I clicked two buttons. And I may have a virus. So I'm trying to figure that out now.
Yeah.
Don't go to the random button.
I was going to tell them that my buddy lives up in the UP in Wisconsin. In the Michigan State Extension Office, the MSU it's an agricultural school, just like Wisconsin is. They have I guess what you would call it, one of their farms up there. They're growing all kinds of weird shit like bamboo, stuff that's not native to the United States. Now, I can only imagine how much taxpayer money they're spending to do this, to grow these bamboo stalks and all this other stuff up there. But this isn't the only one. These are all over the state. So I can only imagine that they're everywhere across the country. Just like Charles and I were talking about. I was talking to you guys about the land grabs, the Chinese shell corporations that were grabbing all this land. And Charles, we brought one up. One of them was, what's his name, Charles? His name is
Sun Gun Schwinn.
So he bought 140,000 acres in Texas.
Ni hao ma.
Ni hao ma. Good day.
Good day.
We know a little bit of Chinese Mandarin because we've been doing
Singapore has been number 2 on our podcast.
Yes,
World
we've got
Globe,
50. We got 58 active
What up,
listeners. An episode.
Singapore?
Nice.
Ni
They're
hao.
gonna hate us.
So
They're gonna
yeah,
hate us
one of
after
their
this.
languages was Chinese Mandarin, and I'm like, yeah, let's learn some because we didn't think they were going to be here this long, and they're here for now longer. So I'll be learning a 4th word onto this phrase.
What does
so
that
far.
mean? What did you
Well,
say?
it's, hello, how are you? Goodbye. I don't actually care how you are. I don't because I can't
How are
respond
you?
because I know what I'm saying, and if it sounds like what I said, I could tell you what that was. But if you're like anything at all after that, I'm like, and goodbye.
Well, see, we're fortunate then because our number 2 is Australia, so that's kind of like a bad stretch for us.
Nice. Yeah.
I say that Canada, and Australia are competing for number 2, so we don't have to really learn like any foreign language yet.
Yeah.
If you are a heroin dealer in Singapore, you're fucked. So we know that.
If you guys are actually, you're in Australia is actually up there, you guys should talk about opal. Opal mining is huge in Australia.
Yeah.
Absolutely freaking wild.
I hadn't even told you yet. We had a guy just reach out. He said he's a miner in Australia. He runs he has 1,200 head of cattle that he runs.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I don't know. He may be mining. I'll have to ask him now if it's opal. But they got a farm. What did he tell me the name of his farm? He emailed me earlier today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's one of the coolest things about this podcast is that person from New Zealand, the zookeeper that you sent me an email.
Oh, yeah. We tried getting Hannah. We wanted to see some wild animals. Have this lady come on the podcast and just bring wild animals and have somebody get bit by them. That was one of our episodes.
Really hoping like an alligator or something.
Yeah.
Charles really ought to get bit. You need to get an anaconda in there.
Which leads me to a question. The veterinarian.
All right.
What led you to this? What led you to that?
My dad's a vet. It's probably the easiest. But so I did grow up around it.
What's one of your favorite childhood memories? That's got to be what led you to it.
A
lot of school. He loved school.
I've got to write a 1,400 word fucking essay after this. Yeah, fuck school.
Yeah.
Woo, go to school. It's worth it. I promise. Don't listen to me.
When they issued those assignments, he got excited.
Now, having to write papers, luckily, I guess that's something being in more all the sciences. The chemistries kill you, but the writing wasn't too bad. But interestingly, because all I do in my day job is dogs and cats.
Yeah.
But I hung out around the clinic because my mom worked there too. And so we were,
it's a family thing.
There. But back in the old days, like pre-2000, we did a lot of large animal too. And so making farm calls, of course, because a lot of times that was late at night and we didn't have school the next day or whatever, going with him. I don't know. Saw some pretty cool stuff. Just, again, I was there every day after school. And
it's a life path. It's a family. It's a family environment.
Yeah, and we always had a good time. And I remember I would help like in the kennel, and which those guys, I thought they were old then, but they were like in high school, like 8.
I know the words back in the old days, pre-2000, is still ringing in my mind right now. Screaming. I'm looking at. I'm like, none of us are that old. Stop it. But
not yet.
You're right, though. That's how they. Yeah, it is.
But that was when we were still doing a bunch of large animal and making farm calls and whatnot, just because I love the farm animal side of things. We're just unfortunately not in an area where it's very lucrative to be in that side of the business.
Those sons of bitches in the row crop keep running out the cattle.
Yeah, they keep plowing up all this pasture ground.
Oh man,
a hell of a lot more sustainable and better for the environment.
They're not. The plants don't fart as much as the cows do, and it's got to be a positive somewhere.
Charles, I thought
we sequester our carbon, and they're over there ripping methane all the time.
I thought you. Yes,
Charles,
I thought you were going to ask him that. Yeah.
If plants fart.
Plants, yes, that's what CO2 is there, bud. Yeah. Congratulations, you figured it out.
I figured pollen is like plant
life
STDs.
science.
Like you're just getting sex diseases from plants.
Yeah,
you're getting STDs from.
Once I find out how to sue plants, they're fucked.
Did you know that? I didn't know that. That's kind of like an STD. You get freaking what is it, poison oak or something like that, because it's sexual organs that you're touching or something like that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, tree perverts out there.
I got a little on my arm there.
A little poison oak on the old arm.
I realized that earlier.
Rubbing her up and down.
He said he had a little on his face right there.
I don't have a nickname for this yet, so you're lucky. But in a few days, I will have a nickname for tree people. I don't know. This is going to be awesome. I did not know that.
Weekend, and I must have gotten next to a vine.
Next to a vine. That's insane. Oh my goodness. And Pat, you had mentioned something about the land grab. Now I know that, as I've heard, Montana, there's actually this grandma TikToker farmer. I don't know if y'all have ran into her yet or not, from old Montana there, but she had mentioned it a few times also. And then I know that it's big in old Texas. And
you talking about the funny? It's like the two sons and then the grandma.
Yeah,
yeah, she's a trip. Yeah,
she really is.
Can't remember her. That ain't not the Gatlin.
They're in Oklahoma.
I can't remember the name, but they're funny. But yeah, she put up a video about the China grab, and man, it's crazy. They own. What gets me is we know of about 380,000 acres that they own. But my thing is, how many do we not know? Because again, they use entities to purchase land.
Shell corporations.
Shell corporations. Yeah.
It ain't Long Duck Dong that's out there buying the ground on that name. Yeah, it'll be a corporation. And then if you track it, if you trace it back, it has Chinese origins. But and then I didn't even realize it until today. But when I was researching about the land issue for that video I put out, I try to not be a complete dumbass when I share the videos. And China, they're apparently supposed to report when they purchase the land. They have to report this purchase. I don't know which bureau to the United States, but you have 90 days to report the purchase.
Yeah.
If you don't report the purchase, you get fined. And I think it's like $120,000 fine. Like, it's a pretty hefty fine. Yeah. And some of those, they said some of those land purchases happened 20 years ago and they still were never fined.
Goodness sakes.
Yeah. And I can't help but think, like, for myself and the row crop side, we killed a farm. One of the first farms, I'll never forget, we did a turbo till on it, which is vertical tillage. It's very shallow and it doesn't disturb the topsoil like deep tillage disking or something. And we got in trouble because we didn't realize that it was highly erodible soil is what they classified it as. You're not supposed to do any tillage on that. And they fined us $10,000 for running a turbo till on it. And we had to pay it. Like, you try to fight it and they will call all your loans and basically they'll put you out. And so we had to pay it. So I'm like, man, the American farmer, we get fined. We got to pay it like right then. How the hell's China over here buying shit 20 years from that? No fines. Like, it's just shady. It's really shady.
And it's funny you bring that up too, because it's like, you go to tax auctions, go to a tax auction. You'll get a whole fucking house with its property for $600. And whatever the fucking back taxes were, which ends up being like, I don't know, $6,000-$7,000. You get like this $300,000-$400,000 property because somebody didn't pay $1,200 when you wanted it paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got all these random corporations come. Arizona's got a huge problem with Saudi Arabia right now.
Yeah.
We actually touched on it. Pat reminded me.
Well, Charles, here's the thing. The guy that we were talking about bought 140,000 acres. His plan was in 2016 to start building 15,000 different, I guess it says little subsidiary acre plots. So 15,000 times whatever to get to 140,000 acres. $110 million this guy paid for this land, 140,000 acres, whatever. You know, he's going to make it a solar farm. It takes 27 years to make his money back with that solar farm. So what the fuck did he buy the land for? There's no way. That's not what it was for. So they can just lie and say they're going to do this, do that with it. Like you said, it's going to lay dormant, going to lay empty, and they're going to do nothing with it. They're holding it for something.
Yeah. I lost about 200 acres that I rented for this year to solar panels. They're moving in here really bad. They're from California, and then they have their offices are in Nashville. Nashville is Tennessee's California. I would consider it like that is our.
It's funny you say that. It seems like when you're going through the states, those bigger cities tend to reflect that for some god awful reason. Nobody reads a history book. I don't know.
Yeah.
The wind turbines. You guys have a ton of those down there by you guys too, or no?
We got a shitload up here.
Everywhere
up here. Yeah, and it was so funny too when they were first coming in. man, they sold them landowners on some goods, and they thought they were walking away with a big bag.
They're all regretting it now. So.
Yeah, a couple years later, all I've heard now is
too
many, too close. You don't get the power.
Too big, too many, too close, too loud.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just that it's not that windy here or our terrain, but
right,
because we've got some flat ground, but even when you get like into the river bottom acreage, it's
tornado coverage isn't in the insurance pamphlets in y'all's state, eh?
Yeah.
I said the tornado damage isn't in the insurance pamphlet in y'all's state.
Man. There's flood damage.
Yeah.
They get you everywhere. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, I don't know. I'll tell you, I wonder why are they, because some of the ground they're buying here, really good ground. The ground that I lost was probably my best farm, and it's very fertile ground. And that's where they're putting the panels out here. We're not seeing like the shitty low yield farms. It's really good ground. And right where I was working at, they bought several thousand acres. And it was actually funny. I met with them. I don't remember I think it was before. I may have talked about it. I don't remember on last episode, but I had to meet with two women that came down from Nashville that work with that corporation. They wanted to meet me on the farm, and they were just blown away by soybean. Like there was soybeans on the farm, and she was like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's soybeans." And she started taking pictures, and both of them said, "Never seen this before."
Were they from Nashville?
Oh, I bet you they are not.
They drove from Nashville here. They passed.
They did
hundreds of thousands of acres of soybeans.
They had no clue what they were looking at.
That's so funny. When I helped move ex-person, friend, whatever you want to call him, to Colorado, and when one of the people in Colorado had asked us, because the one was excited about a dishwasher and a washer and dryer in the house, and they're like, "Oh, do you wash your clothes still outside like you guys go to the bathroom in the UP?" And it's the UP is not Escanaba into Moonlight. Like you could have Googled that and it would have told you. In fact, I had a restroom in my house, but no, that's fine. I'm out there every morning.
You got a washboard?
Yeah, the washboard. Yeah, that's what I called it. Yeah, but thank you.
It's getting a hole out in the backyard. It's very good for the soul.
When it rained, that was my favorite part. I got really clean when it rained. It's the UP there. We don't have those pipes that run.
That sweat back in the ground.
Yeah. It's that H2O substance. Yeah, water. That's right. Yeah. It's crazy too, though. Even in the beginning of this podcast, the only thing I know about farmland is son-in-law. And honestly, it's got just weird. Hollywood creates all these weird thoughts in your mind, and that's what you go out into the big old world with. And man, when you find out they were wrong, it really cuts you.
And these, I will give them credit. Both of these chicks were really friendly. They were very nice. I had a pistol on. I wasn't sure how they would respond, but I wasn't going to not have my gun. But it was under my shirt. I don't know if they even noticed, but I was definitely imprinting. But I was like, I don't know if they've ever been around a gun. So judging by them, I felt like they probably would have not been fans of the
Were they wearing the old pantsuits?
No, one chick had on very high blue jeans. Like they came up with really
jeans.
High. Yeah, I guess they're in style right now. I don't know, but she had like big. She just kind of struck me as a very green. She looked like she was
my first inclination is I doubt they're native Tennesseans.
Yeah, I saw
probably not.
Nashville is much. It's like New York City. Like nobody is from there that are there.
Not I always, it's funny that I make this connection, but Nashville is our version of Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Like big music center,
it's hippie.
Like the number 2, like bachelorette city in the like it's a party town now.
A lot of vapors. Everybody vapors there.
Nashville is incredibly expensive.
Everybody like loves to go to Nashville, and I'm like,
a lot of
Nashville my whole life. Like, what's nothing cool about Nashville? But and they've gone. Memphis gets crapped on because we're just outside of Memphis.
Yeah.
Memphis deserves most of the crap it catches.
Hey, but tell Nashville to come over here, man. Memphis blow them out of the water.
Memphis got.
You're telling them to take them in a fist fight? Because I
That's right.
guarantee you Memphis is
got
going to win that one.
issues
Yeah.
with poverty and crime, but
Yeah.
Nashville's gone completely left wing,
Yeah.
woke, all the
Yeah.
BS, all the crazy protests and stuff. Memphis has behaved 1,000 times better than Nashville
I've been
has.
shocked. I have been
Oh,
shocked.
1,000 times better.
Yeah.
Because it's always
Yeah.
rich white kids with purple hair that are the ones.
Seriously, it's always like they walk into the photo and you're like, fuck, the Smurfs are here. We're fucking gonna be in trouble.
It's not the minorities that are acting stupid.
No.
It's the crazy liberal white kids.
It's so frustrating, man. It is.
Not a lot.
Life was much easier when they were in the basement. Like, just go back to your fucking parents' basement. I'm sorry, we all made fun of you so much, and you're like, fine, I'll come out. We don't want you. We fucked up. We're sorry.
Mom, are the pizza rolls done? I want to come upstairs.
Go back to your basement, please.
It was our Call of Duty stuff that ruined them. Our,
Oh my
all our
God,
trash talk
yeah.
brought them out of the basement. That's what did it.
You know how many parents I yelled at for yelling at me? Like, you're letting your child play this game. Who's the bad parent here? Not me. Not fucking me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Those are some good times. I miss Modern Warfare too. We talk about it way too much.
I think that was the last one I played, maybe Modern Warfare 2.
Probably.
It's been years. It's been years.
I got a nephew that, trying to think, he's like 12, and he's gotten into video games, and he plays, and I hadn't played online in a long time, and I don't remember. Maybe he was here at our house or something, and I was like, I had to knock the dust off. I got an Xbox One or something, and I said, I'll play it on here. I'll show you. I said, man, I used to be a freaking dirt napper on here. I fired it up, had to do an update, I think, to play it. We get in there, and dude, I still had it. After a couple of matches, I was smoking them, and he was really blown away. So I was like, yeah, man, you can't doubt your uncle, man.
Yeah, I tell all them young bloods. I said, I was alive when this dark magic was created. Don't come after me with this weak Patronus crap.
What did Bane tell him, man? What did he say? You adopted the dark. I was burning it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Although, arguably, I do get my ass kicked often by 12 and 13-year-olds. And it's just
much. So that's a given.
Yeah, it's you get shot and you're like, you're like, hey, I'll burn your fucking house down.
Yeah.
I can find out where you live. I'm sorry, I need to turn this off now.
I quit. Just the I quit. Get the I quit from him.
Yeah. And then I go and play like some single player game on super easy because it's just a much calmer life now. Like, shut up, Goblin.
I'll tell you, if you want to get Bobby Lee riled up, you need to talk about taxes because he's a big believer in taxes.
They have a purpose, but they also have not a purpose.
I don't understand taxes. I don't. I think it's like an old person's game.
You can wrap your head around what the purpose is, but you can also wrap your head around the fact that we don't need all of them. But
the fact that like 95% of them are completely
just trash.
Well, or just somehow filtered back into the politicians' pockets one way.
Yeah.
And I think the one that we need to pay is obviously sales tax because it goes back to and state taxes probably as well. But your income tax one just makes no sense to me. I think income tax one.
Property tax is the one that
property tax is wild.
But pay property tax one time when you purchase. And make it a little bit stiffer. Sure.
I won't love it, but sure. Yeah. The fact that you have to pay it every year.
You never own your own land.
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, you're leasing it from the government, basically.
I guess my biggest thing with taxes, right? Like, I wouldn't care how much I pay in taxes if I could see what the fuck my taxes were doing.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what they are doing with
so you
absolutely
want
no fucking
the little
results.
bouncy ball to fucking come down the thing and tell you exactly where your money's going, penny by penny.
Okay,
or
so
what?
if the government gives
Scrooge
me a grant,
what are you doing?
Listen, here's the thing: if the government gives me a grant, I have to the fucking penny show them with receipts where every fucking cent went, or I'll never get a grant again, and I have to pay all that fucking money back regardless. One penny.
They probably know if we knew exactly where it all went, there'd be a total
I'll pay 12 grand a year in taxes. Show me that 12 grand is going to those children that fucking school, that fucking road, that fucking bridge, that fucking education system, but you can't.
Charles, that's exactly why when they said audit the Fed, it'll never happen.
No.
Ever. It'll
It's 'cause
never happen.
I'm convinced about 10% of it goes to legitimate.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Look at these weed states outside of fucking Colorado who literally had to show the world that we could do this, right? Outside of Colorado, who was getting roads done in overnight stretches, 2-mile fucking stretches. You go to sleep, you wake up, there's no more potholes, right? Schools were getting fucking computers out the ass from corner to corner. I get that, right? But drive through fucking Michigan for 12 minutes. You'll shoot your fucking car and you'll buy a plane ticket and you'll head back home. It's crazy. And the entire time you're asking yourself, what the this is one of the richest tax states in America. Where is all the money going? This is insane.
Politicians' pockets hiding in the wind. What are you gonna do?
People get in trouble for talking about that. We should talk about Hillary. Maybe I'll get shot.
That's the thing. If you ever hear of me, I always say getting suicided, man, because that's why I'm like, you need to do some research. I've seen Shooter. They got the thing they put on you, make you shoot yourself.
I love that movie. Hell yeah. Gotta flush the drugs out your system, bitch.
Yeah. That is a great movie.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Charles, we're rolling in on 50, and Papa Bear's got to edit.
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, plug yourself. Anything cool coming up? Anything at all?
We're approaching episode 100.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
We're pretty
pumped. We're in the mid 90s somewhere.
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah, I think we're at 43. So
just keep on trucking, man. It's and you might we both.
Oh yeah, we just started doing it. He had been on me for about 6 months, and finally I was like, all right, we'll do it, and we just kept doing it.
That's so cool.
Kept showing up every week.
And the podcast is called Talk Dirt.
Talk Dirt to Me.
Talk Dirt to Me. And it can be found everywhere.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, Instagram. You can go to our website, talkdirtpodcast.com. Reach out to us. And hopefully in a few months, you'll look. Bobby Lee's going to have a Hulk Hogan skullet on the show.
There you go.
Yeah. Check us out.
We're trying to get subscribers, and we blew through our first goal. And so Logan's going to grow a ponytail, and I'm like,
nice. Yeah.
I wish.
We're good.
Bald is
I
beautiful.
missed my chance to ever have a mullet, but I was like, I'll do a skullet.
Skullet, man.
I would by the end of September.
Listen, I thought I fucked up by saying I was
drew one. I think they would disown me.
Oh man, that's too
his
cool.
wife love it. She'll love a skullet.
Oh, there you go. I can't wait to see it.
Do it.
By the way,
vibe.
I'll contribute. You got to GoFundMe. Let's do it.
We're just looking for reviews. All we want is
reviews. All right,
ratings and reviews for the.
I'll be sending. We'll be sending everybody over there for the reviews. Everybody go review, because we definitely need to see that skull.
We need the skullet.
I want to see the skullet really bad. Like I said, please, we got to get there. Guys, hey man, we've had a great time. We appreciate y'all having us.
Hey, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. And until next time, listen to all of our viewers out there and all of our listeners. We love you so much. And remember to smile more. You never know whose life you may be saving because of it.